Best practices for implementing big data services. One aspect of digital transformation that organizations struggle to get right is the identifying, capturing, managing, and analyzing of big data. Across all industries, organizations are keen to use this data and work of data scientists to discover the insight that will drive strategic business decisions. How can the CIO and his team introduce big data into their workflow? And how can they translate what appears to be hieroglyphics to top level executives in plain language? Begin with knowledge. The first issue to overcome is defining what big data actually means. A common data language will foster the growth of the best ideas shared across diverse internal teams and trusted partners. Number one, data that is too big, too fast moving, or too complex for traditional data processing tools. Datasets whose characteristics include veracity, volume, high velocity, and a variety of data structure. Data assets that require new forms of processing to enable enhanced decision making for extraction of new insights or new discovery. Number 4. An involving concept about the growth of data and how to curate, manage, and process the data. Pain point of the EW. What organizations are probably used to is the traditional enterprise data warehouse, which typically works with abstracted data that has been gathered in a separate database for specific analytics. EW databases are based on stable data models. Change has a heavy price. Changes to the system and configuration are expensive due to rigid and flexible design. Access is not real-time. Separating the database from operational data sources cause data ability issues. Batch window limitations also add to the latency, slowing the system. The need to run and hoc analysis from time to time in addition to regular operational reporting degrades system response times. Big data gets real. Important question must be asked when organizations begin to realize the sheer of volume of big data that they have collected. What data is really relevant and what isn't? Is the data at risk or in motion? What is the end goal for the data collected? How will this data help achieve goals, whether it's mobile marketing or sales? Create the data platform that works for you. Clarity is needed regarding the variety of data you're working with. Typically, a combination of traditional structured data and relative unstructured big data sets. Once you have sorted out what your data platform should look like, you will have a better understanding of how to manage and analyze the different types of data. The main phases of big data analysis professionals must consider at a minimum these five aspects of data: ingestion, harmonization, analysis, visualization, democratization. Three steps to take first as your teams prepare to capture, control, manage, and visualize the big data that matters most to your organization. Implementing these three key elements will help assess and strategize. Do an assessment to determine a strategy that works for your organization before you make the move to big data. Consider bringing in a third party vendor or someone from outside the organization to evaluate your current situation. Secure stakeholder involvement. Put a clear vision and mission in place by work with the right stakeholder. What are you trying to accomplish? Many organizations are jumping onto a big data bandwagon and ingesting terabytes of data, only to ask the question, now what? Draw a clear map. Break down that tactical outcomes by creating a clear strategic roadmap. For instance, a 36-month strategic roadmap will give you an opportunity to review and change course if necessary. The resulting outcome every quarter will help you better evaluate and build out your goals. A measured approach to big data. Just because you can do what something doesn't mean you should. Today's data gathering capabilities must be used with care and consideration to prevent the creation of a heap of useless information. Organization must be strategic in how they approach the collection, management, and analysis of their data if they want to find the gems of insight that will provide them with a competitive edge. Yun lamang po. Thank you.
So hello guys, for our topic is designing and maintaining big data using Google. So first is an array of tools are currently available for managing and processing data. Some are ready to go solutions that can be immediately deployed, while others require complex and time intensive setups. Second is such a vast range of options. Choosing the right tool to build a solution can be complicated, as can determining which tools work well with each other. Third is designing and maintaining big data platforms provides clear and authoritative guidance on the critical decisions necessary for successfully deploying, operating, and maintaining big data system. So the last is this highly practical guide helps readers understand how to process large amounts of data with well-known Linux tools and database solutions, use effective techniques to collect and manage data from multiple sources, transform data into meaningful business insight, and much more. Then next is manual for designing and maintaining big data. First is provides up-to-date coverage of the tools currently used in big data processing and management. Second is offers step-by-step guidance and building data pipeline from basic scripting to distributed systems. Third is highlights and explain how data is processed at scale. Then the last is includes an introduction to the foundation of a modern data platform. So that is the designing and maintaining big data. So that's all, and thank you for listening, and thank you.
Security best practices for big data solution. Pay attention to the architecture. Design of the big data compute and services infrastructure with care. Understand how data and framework traffic flow in the infrastructure and limit the number of places that hackers might attack. Document the infrastructure and enforce the configuration through establish the public cloud tools such as aus, aus config and Azure app configuration. Implement least privilege tactics. Employ full authentication and authorize for all data and compute access. Never use application, tools, or services that lack authentication or authorized capabilities. Always use least privilege tactics to restrict access to the data of resources. IT teams can apply this to the group level or the individual level as needed. Encrypt data. Encrypt data both at the rest and in flight, even if the unauthorized individual managed to access the datasets. The encrypted data would be unusable. Encrypting data in flight and using common techniques such as the transport layer security or secure socket layer prevent that data snooping or alternation. IT teams can encrypt data at rest before storage within database at the disk or even combination of tactics that meet business requirement. Monitor the environment. Craft of the cloud monitoring strategy to keep a track of storage the compute environment. Native cloud monitoring tools like Amazon CloudWatch, Azure Monitor, and Google Cloud Operations Suite can collect monitoring and operational data to build logs and oversee metrics, the event use dashboard, and the audit logs spot molecules activity within the cloud deployment. Additionally, within cybersecurity threats of the rise as more enterprises move to the cloud, take advantage of the other provider tools such as intrusion detection and prevention system to spot hacker at work. That's all. Thank you.
Let's take a look at some of the most important data security best practices that can reduce the risk associated with analyzing a massive amount of data. First, protection authentication gateways. Weak authentication mechanism is one of the most common factors that contribute towards data breaches. Exposing the vulnerabilities present in user authentication function, a hacker can potentially gain access to sensitive data. Flawed implementation of users' authentication process must be prevented at the design stage. Ensure that there is no broken authentication tokens which can be exploited by any unauthorized users. The second one is employ principle of least privilege. You should ideally maintain a tier access control and implement principle of least privilege or POPL. It advocates limiting users' access to the minimal level that will allow normal functioning. In other words, you should give a user only those privileges which are essential for that user to take care of his her responsibilities. If should prevent unethical IT specialists from indulging in unlawful data mining activities. The third one is make use of retrospective attack simulation. Not all organizations can build in-house infrastructure to support big data initiative due to financial constraints. If your big data project relies on the third-party cloud-based or public or private solution, then retrospective attack simulation can be used to find vulnerabilities with the third-party application hosted on the cloud. If the attack succeeds, then you should investigate the issue further to find a permanent resolution. Retrospective simulation would help you to identify probable weaknesses in the system before a genuine hacker tries to exploit the vulnerability. The fourth one is use latest antivirus protection. Multiple antivirus vendors have come up with security solutions that are specifically targeted towards big data initiatives. So, always protect your big data environment with the latest antivirus suite. Make sure that the updates that patches are installed as soon as they are made available by the manufacturer. The last one is scheduled periodic audits. Big data is an emerging market and the technologies are constantly evolving, making it difficult for the existing security solution to keep up with the increasing demand. Periodic audits will help you to identify new vulnerabilities as they make their presence felt, thus you can realign your security compliance with the current security standards. That's all, sir. Thank you.